What's up, Diamond family? It's your man Vivi. Hope you guys are doing great. I'm back with another tutorial. We're going to talk about vocal EQ today. I'm going to show you how to get your vocals crispy and clean and popping just using EQ. Before we jump into it, remember that I got the free Pro Tools template down below in the description. If you haven't downloaded it yet, go get it, man. It's a great way to record your vocals. It's got everything you need already lined up. All right, let's jump into this No Cap Jerry Legend song. So I'm going to play you the vocal, how it sounds now. And mind you, this is just like no compression. It's only EQ on the vocal. I've muted the backgrounds. We're only going to listen to the lead vocal for Jerry. Let's play it real quick.
Whip that dope just like a chef. Ay, I'm a shark too. Know that you can tell. Yeah. Press the perky and a lean. So damn high, I can feel it in my spleen. Space car ride. Right?
So the vocal sounds crisp, it sounds clean, it's cutting through all that, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did, what EQ moves I made. So let's go down here to the lead bus. So the first thing that we have on here is a Deesser. You have to control the S's in your vocal. If you don't control the S's and the sibilants in the vocal, it's just never gonna really sit right in the mix the way you want it to. So you have to make sure, before anything, me personally, I like to cut off the S's, kind of control them, and then I'll bring some more of the high end back in later. So I have the Deesser going first. We won't really go into the settings or anything for that. And then we just got a VMR, which just has a few basic EQs from Slate. Everything I'm going to be using today is from the Slate Digital Everything Bundle. So go pick that up, man. 10-15 bucks a month, and you can have everything that I'm using right now. So I'm going to take everything off and let you hear the vocal of nothing on it.
Know that you can tell. Yeah. Press the perky and a lean. So damn high, I can feel it in my spleen. Space car ride.
So instantly, first thing you hear, the S is popping out like crazy, right? So the Deesser is going to take care of a lot of that. Let's hear it without the Deesser, and you can kind of hear the smoothness of the vocal now.
You can tell. Yeah. Press the perky and a lean. So damn high, I can feel it in my spleen. Space car ride.
Bet. So that's just giving us a good starting point, right? So that's our starting point. Let's dig into this EQ. The first thing you see is just the channel emulation. I use that pretty much on every vocal and instrument channel, just to kind of give it the same, emulate the sound of going through a board. We're using the Brit 4K, which is just the SSL channel, and it's going to emulate all of my channels going through an SSL board. After that, I'm using the basic Slate custom EQ. I think this EQ gets slept on a lot, man, because it doesn't have a lot of the flashy colors, and it doesn't have a lot of control. Like, you can't really dial in the things that you want to mess with a lot. But man, I really do like this EQ, especially right here, the high pass filter. So as you can see, I have it pretty high at 218, but the way that the curve is set up, it doesn't cut a terrible amount of low end. So let's just go in with that EQ, and you can kind of hear what it's doing. So I'm rolling off all the way up to 218. I didn't touch anything in the low frequency. The low mid, I'm just cutting out a little bit of 4, because of the way that the curve is shaped, it's cutting out more of that boxiness at 3, which is what I'm really attacking. I took out some 4K because it's still a little sibilant there. So I took out a little bit of 4K just to tame the sibilance a little bit, and then I boosted some 10K just to bring back some of what we lost when we de-essed everything. So let's play back what we got.
You can tell. Yeah. Press the perky and a lean. So damn high, I can feel it in my spleen. Space car ride. Fuck a GLE.
And really, that's doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So a lot of times, though, when I cut out the EQ, when I start to cut frequencies out using EQ, you end up losing. The vocal comes out thin. It doesn't feel as heavy. It doesn't feel as full. That's why a lot of people will stack their vocals a lot of times, which really isn't the answer you're looking for. I like to solve that problem a lot of times with saturation. So the Revival from Slate is a great saturator. It gives you 2 bands, just thickness, which is basically the low end, and shimmer, which is the higher end. And this is, I use it as an EQ, but it also adds some slight compression, and really it's saturating. But the saturation does affect the tonal character of the sound. So it's essentially an EQ. And I like to use it as one. So listen to what it's doing to the high and the low end. It's very subtle, but it brings it back some of the body and some of the fullness of the vocal. So let's hear it with the Revival added.
You can tell. Yeah. Press the perky in a lean. So damn high, I can feel it in my spleen. Space car ride, fuck a GLE.
Right, so now let's hear it again without it.
You can tell, yeah. Press the perky in a lean. So damn high, I can feel it.
In the low end, it's like we lose a lot of the bite. The low end of his vocal just gets sucked back into the beat. But once we add this revival and we bring some of that thickness in, it really just pushes the lower register of his voice a little bit more out of the beat. So I love revival for that. I just love revival, period. It's a really great tool to use in small doses. And the last piece of this very simple EQ is the custom series, again, the lift EQ. Another slept on, overlooked EQ. One of the things I really like about it is that it's got an output control, so you can turn it up or down on the way out of this plugin. I love plugins that you can adjust the gain after you've affected it. And this is kind of like the revival, but it's just purely EQ. And so the punch is just, well, you got a low end and you got a high end lift, right? So the punch is just going to help the low end of your vocals kind of punch through a little bit, which is great if you got kind of a sub heavy or a bass heavy beat. It's going to let it punch through a little bit. And big works better if there's not a lot of low end in the rest of the beat and you want to kind of fill in that low frequency with a vocal. So big helps me do that. The silky and the present, kind of the opposite. If things are very busy up top, you got a lot of hi-hats, you got a lot of samples or effects and stuff in the higher end that are kind of going crazy. I like to go with the silky just so I can get a little bit of creaminess out of the vocal in the high end, and it's not fighting with the hi-hats and everything else. However, if you've got a more lo-fi kind of beat, there's not that much going on in the high end. The presence can really help you to kind of add some detail in the high end, specifically in your vocals. So let's hear it with this lift EQ, which is kind of the last piece, and I'll play it back.
You can tell, yeah. Press the perky in a lean.
Let me play it with it on.
You can tell, yeah. Press the perky in a lean. So damn high, I can feel it in my spleen. Space car ride, fuck a GLE.
Let's play it without it.
You can tell, yeah. Press the perky in a lean.
Really is doing so much for the high end. It is, and I'm saying so much, but it's really a very subtle thing. But if you're paying attention, you'll hear what it does in the high register. Hear it again with it.
You can tell, yeah. Press the perky in a lean.
Listen again without.
You can tell, yeah. Press the perky in a lean.
Yeah, it's just like we just kind of pulled not a blanket, but definitely a sheet. There was a little thin sheet on the vocal, and we just ripped it off with that high lift. And I think it really just adds that kind of polish, that finishing touch to the vocal that it really needs. So this right here is a very basic EQ setup, but if you track your vocals well, you don't have to do a crazy amount when it comes down to EQ. So let's play it one more time with everything engaged. Actually, we'll play it one more time with everything off, and then I'll play it again with everything engaged. And you can just see on the actual recording channel, there's nothing but the VMR. We're using the FG800 mic emulation. So let's play that back.
I'm a shark too, know that you can tell. Yeah. Press the perky in a lean. So damn high, I can feel it in my spleen. Space car ride.
Which that's a great starting point. If you can track your vocals so that they come in sounding like that from the jump, you're gonna have a much easier time EQing and affecting your vocals once you get them recorded. Let's hear it with everything on it.
I'm a shark too, know that you can tell. Yeah. Press the perky in a lean. So damn high, I can feel it in my spleen. Space car ride, fuck a GLE. Door suicide like it's going RP. She gon' fuck the guys.
And that's it. So, man, take these tips, start applying them to your productions, to your recordings, to your mixing and mastering, and let me know how it goes, man. If you need a song mixed and mastered, please shoot me an email down below, info@vvsrecording.com, and let's get ready for the next one, man. Let's make diamonds. Peace.
I'm a shark too, know that you can tell. Yeah. Press the perky in a lean. So damn high, I can feel it in my spleen.